Hello and welcome to my little video log or blog. I'm going to talk today about what's it take to be happy at work. I've been inspired by this topic this week. A friend of mine that I studied psychology with at university, Shauna McVeigh, shared an article from the Guardian newspaper earlier this week about, you know, are people happy yet? Are they happy with more? Or, at what point, an interesting article to read, like at what point in their life do they stop being happy or do they continue to be happy? What affects it? And I've been thinking about that in terms of the workplace. So previously, I put a little article up on LinkedIn. You can find it there on my profile. Um, but that we need three things to be happy. We need someone to love. We need something interesting to do, and we need something to aim for. Now, that's in life in general. So does that apply to work? In that article, I said yes, it does. We need good relationships with our colleagues at work. Not all of them, but enough good relationships that we can function socially within the workplace and enjoy parts of our working life. We also need something interesting to do. So something that's going to grab us, and we need something to aim for. So we need a goal. We need a challenge. We need to be thinking that life and work is taking us somewhere, taking us to where we want to be. So I want to think that my work is taking me to where I want to be, and you are likewise, but you don't want, and I don't want to think that work is taking us somewhere else where somebody else wants us to be. So that's it's a maybe I'm overcomplicating that, but again, it's an important topic. So the key thing about the work that inspired me this week, that article in the Guardian, and they it talked about social narratives, how people are expected to behave. The guy who wrote the article, um, Paul Dorn, I think his name is, and Paul Dolan. He's a lecturer at London School of Economics, and his behaviour was challenged on the beach as to how he should behave. So in terms of when he was walking across going for food and talking to people, he was challenged on his role as a lecturer, as an academic, and how that should dictate how he spoke and how he acted. So do these narratives happen in the workplace? So because the simple fact is that the social narrative is giving us a direction and a path as to what society, the history of society, and how we've come to the position we're in now, how we've come to this time in society, that how people should be, how we should behave, how should we act in different situations. There's a rule, a set of rules behind all of these that we all know with. We've grown up with them, but they impact on our happiness, because sometimes these social narratives show us a myth of the perfect way. This is the way we should be, and then what happens is that we feel forced to compare our lives and where we are and how we behave, how we act, how we do against what that perfect way looks like. And when we are forced into those comparisons, many of us are going to come out feeling bad, because our what we see within this myth of the perfect way is not totally how other people feel, how other people are. It's it's a facade, it's a story, it's a picture of the perfect way, not the details. And we compare where we are to that, and makes us feel poor, because our way and our life and our position, etc., at work might just not compare favorably. And we think of this perfect way as our route to happiness. So we look at that picture and we go, well, that's how I should be. If I want a happy life, if I want a successful work life, that's how I should be. And one good example of this is the world of social media and social media envy. We all have friends who post many pictures on places like Facebook and Instagram and all the rest. Um, out for a lovely meal. I'm checking in here now. Look at me. I'm going. And what you're getting is a snapshot of good parts of their lives. Yes, I'd love to be there for a meal. Yes, I'd love to go to that event or venue, museum, art gallery, whatever it might be. But only if it suits me. But what we end up doing is comparing. Oh, look how great their life is. And it's funny when you have when these people are your friends, when you have a real conversation with them, not a social media conversation, you find out that the detail is somewhat different from that myth that has been created on the social media platform, that social narrative that you've just been not fed in a way, but you've received the social narrative about how a successful and comfortable and happy life should be. We should all be going out to all these restaurants. We should all be going out to doing all these things, and that's difficult. What happens then is that we focus on the other person's snapshots of their lives, not the detail, not the fact that maybe yes they did go out for a meal, but they had tons of worries on their mind, or that they felt under pressure in some way, or that meal was to make up for something to someone. There's a lot of detail that isn't shared within that social narrative, within that snapshot, and that's where we need to be careful. So we seek what makes them happy rather than looking at what makes us happy. So if I see that Facebook um, posts from any person, and I go, oh, they have a wonderful life, and I need it. That's what I need. Well, maybe that doesn't make me happy. I should focus on me, not that. So again, we have to look then, do social narratives happen in the workplace? And the answer is yes, yes, they do. So what is the social narrative where you work? And when you want to think about this specifically, think about what is success where you work. What is the accepted, the most widely accepted version of what a successful employee is in your workplace? And what is that social narrative saying? Is that telling people that in order to be successful, you have to work longer hours, work harder, you know, jump to when asked, go out for drinks and social events rather than going home to your family? So what is that social narrative saying to people? What myth is it painting of the perfect way to success in your organization? And then as leaders, we need to ask ourselves, well, are you guilty of perpetuating this narrative? Because does it work for everyone? Is it the only way to success? So if someone doesn't go out for drinks after work, doesn't do the Friday evening social, are they forever going to be disadvantaged for promotion opportunities, even if they are extremely talented employees? And the answer is probably not. You know what I mean? So it's not the only way. And we have to ask, is it the perfect way? Or is it just the way that has come about? It's the way we've always done things. Does it need challenged at this point? And for some people, when truth is told, it will be the perfect way for them to work. It will fit what they value, and that's absolutely fine. That's how we all are. We all value different things. So some people will value that opportunity to work longer, to work harder, to put in the hours, to put in the hard graft, to go out for those social events and be at maybe not all of them, but the most of them, and be seen. While for others, it won't be. For others, it will be about their, you know, different ways of showing their talent, different ways of being seen in the organization, different ways of getting involved and getting getting their name seen and known by the important people if they want a career. So there's nothing wrong with that narrative, but it becomes a problem when it's seen as the only way to get ahead. That's the only show in town. The only way to get success in this organization is by doing these things and behaving in this way. And that's when it becomes a problem. All of a sudden, as we said earlier, we're chasing other people's snapshots. Well, the same thing at work. All of a sudden, talented employees, you're forcing them to follow somebody else's dream, not their own way of working, not their own way of achieving success. Each person is different. I remember in a job for me personally, the person, the direct manager above me retired. And I remember being asked by different people within the team and within the organization to go for the job. And it was tempting, but the job was taking me away from what I enjoyed doing into a role that I didn't think I would enjoy. And I I didn't I didn't go for the job. And I followed what I thought would make me happy. And I think that was to this day I still think that's the right decision. I've never regretted that decision. Yes, I could have got an immediate pay raise and all the rest and a bit more status, but that wasn't the important thing. To some people, yes, it was about moving up in the organization and getting to the next level, and that's okay. But my vision of happiness was somewhat different. So again, can't follow someone else's dream, because down the line, these talented employees who you do encourage and do perpetuate the social narrative and the one show in town, well, then they're going to become frustrated because they haven't found what makes them happy. They found what makes a mythical person happy. So we have to encourage people to follow their own dreams, to look for what makes them happy in your workplace. Because we know if people are happy where they are, they'll more likely stay if they're getting what they want from work. So this is what you should do. Instead of perpetuating that mythical perfect way, change that narrative a bit. Yes, that way can still exist. You don't have to throw it out. But what we want to think about here is, sit down with each person in your team, have a chat with them, explore their success story. What do they see as success? What makes them happy? Even outside work, what type of things have they done that they would consider successful? That might be community involvement, social involvement, sports clubs, different roles that they've held. What about them? What was it that floated their boat on those different activities? Can you replicate any of that in your team? What was it that they enjoyed and found successful? So once you get that definition of what they see success as, then discuss what makes each person happy at work. So what do they like about their job? What do they need more of? What what do they not like so much? How can you help them deal with that? But let's face it, it still needs done. But how can we deal with it differently and better? And what are they looking for from work? What's that person want? I've also put posts up about the ask. Each person comes to work with an ask. They're looking for something. It gives each of us something different. So what is that person's ask from work? Why do they come to work in the mornings? Yes, they have to pay all their bills, but what else is there that's outside of the functional? What's important to them? And finally finish off by asking, how can I help you get what you want from your job? What is it they're looking for, and how can you ease the path to that, and have that conversation with each person? And sometimes that'll take you a long way down the path towards that person being happier, being more content, and being a better employee. Okay, so it's small, simple things. No big effort needed. Just a few simple short chats when the opportunity arises with people. You don't even have to go and seek those opportunities. Just whenever they arise, whenever you're having a cordial conversation, listening to those stories about their life outside work and successes they've had, be interested, and then the next time you're sitting down, maybe for a review or a supervisory type chat, well then, what do they want from their job, and how can you help them get it? Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed listening. If you'd like to know more, or you'd like to have a chat with me about any of these things, so drop me an email, nides@etimes2.com, and we can get in touch and we can have a chat. And always delighted for a coffee. Thank you very much.